Abbeville City Council to order July 2nd, 2024, 5:30 p.m. Kathy, can you give me a roll call, please?
Councilman
Here.
Councilwoman Broussard. Here. Councilman Joseph.
Here.
Councilman Dean is absent. Councilman Hardy.
Here.
Mayor Yellowstone.
Having a quorum present, I ask everyone to stand for the prayer and the pledge, and I'm going to ask Lauren Trahan to lead us in the prayer, please.
Thank you. If you could bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the leadership in this room. We thank you for the representatives in this room who represent all areas of our parish and our city. We're just so grateful for strength, and we're grateful for people that really care about the future of Abbeville. So Father, I thank you for this time together. Thank you for this fellowship together. And it's in Jesus' name that we ask for a kind, clean, calm, cool, and collected meeting tonight. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Lauren. Amen. And Coach Zenon, would you come up here and lead us in the pledge, please? Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go. All right. All right. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, before getting started, a few housekeeping items. Under presentations, we ask that you limit presentations to 7 minutes. And public comments, we'll call for public comments at the beginning of the meeting, but you can also comment under any agenda item. We ask that you limit public comments to approximately 3 minutes. That's just to keep the agenda rolling. That being said, we will open up the floor for public comments. Are there any public comments on any agenda items prior to us moving forward? Hearing none, we'll move on to personnel. Personnel, item number 1, update, discussion, and possible action pertaining to the 15% pay increase for police officers after their 1-year anniversary. Chief Mike Party. Do you?
Okay, so far this year, when an officer achieved their 1 year of service and post-certified, they, and for the last 40 years, they've been getting a 15% increase. And so far, we've given it to 3 officers, I believe, Mayor?
Yeah.
And this is for your information. We're just asking you to continue doing that for all officers as they get post-certified and get their 1 year of service with the department.
And before we take any action, I just want to let the council know why this is back on the agenda. On the last meeting when we considered this action, the motion was made and seconded and passed to authorize 15% increase for 3 officers expecting pay increases in May, and to have board take the issue to civil service to clean up the classification issue, because as you recall, we don't have an SPO classification in civil service. And once it would be complete, that the council would set the percentage increase at a future meeting. What we have since found out is that the process to create that classification is quite lengthy. We are working through it with the chief, Heather, state civil service, and board, but it's going to take some time. That being said, there were actually 6 officers who were hired and were promised the 15% pay increase. 3 of those were taken care of at the previous meeting, but the next 3, which will make their 1 year on 6/23, June 23rd, September 1, and December 4th, we did not approve that 15% increase. So it is my recommendation to council to go ahead and make that 15% to all of the officers through the end of the year who were promised the 15%.
I move.
Second.
Okay, and hopefully we'll have an update for you at another meeting.
Yes,
soon.
we'll give you an idea of how we're going to be addressing the step increase between patrolman and sergeant. That's the middle rank in between patrolman and sergeant.
And at some point, we'll also bring back up the TCOs. I know we're waiting on some information
Yes.
from Heather, so that'll come back before council also. But for right now, the motion and the second is to, for the last 3 officers who are going to make their 1 year, will get their 15% increase as they were promised when they were hired.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And Chief, that's for anybody who was hired before December 1 of 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the list we have. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Moving on. Presentations. Introduction of new Abbeville High School coach, Ms. Terry Broussard, Councilwoman Terry Broussard.
Coach Zenon and your staff, I would like you to come to the front, please. So that, I asked you to the meeting so that you could, I know that some people met you and your staff at Juneteenth Day, but I wanted you to our city council meeting to meet the mayor and the rest of our council people that we serve with, and wanted you to tell us a little bit about yourself. I read your resume.
Okay. How you doing? I'm Johnson Zenon. I'm from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. I graduated at Breaux Bridge High, 2003. Then attended LSU, where I graduated in 2007. I also won 2 national championships while attending at LSU.
Go Tigers.
We're excited to be here. This feels like home for us. You know, it's a small commute, you know, from Breaux Bridge to here, but you know, I enjoy taking the commute every day, meeting our kids. A couple of coaches not here today. My offensive coach will be John Williams. He's another guy that's from Breaux Bridge, also played at LSU. Who else, man?
Coach Brandon.
Coach Brandon. He's from Abbeville.
Johnson.
Johnson.
Oh, John.
Yeah, he's not here. And we have another one.
His son Julius.
His son, yeah, his son Julius as well will be joining our team. On my left, I have Timothy Williams, who will be our linebacker coach, and he's from Breaux Bridge. He also played football with me as well. He's the brother of Dominic Davis, also played in the NFL. And then I have my coach that coached me when I was young, is Brandon Gregory. So
Welcome
this
to
is
the city of Abbeville.
yes,
And
ma'am.
happy to be here.
Some very nice homes on the market in Abbeville, and you know, I'm sure you might be able to find one, so you won't have to commute.
Yeah, exactly. I actually just built a house.
Oh, okay.
So if everything is good, then you know we don't mind moving.
Well, you're always welcome here, you're always welcome, and thank you for coming.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for coming.
All right. We have a
Okay, oh, yes, that's what I thought, you should be down. Thank you. Thank y'all so much.
pleasure to meet you.
I will see y'all that.
Thank you. Well seasoned like a cast iron plate. All right. Moving on to new business. Item number 1, hearing with the following individuals who may be banned from public parks. First individual, Justin Vincent, or Vincent. Is Justin Vincent present? Hi, Justin. How are you?
With council.
Okay, council. So you are called here because there was an incident at AA Como Park. I don't want to get into a lot of the details because I do realize it's an incident that hasn't gone to court yet. It is my recommendation to council that all individuals who have charges outstanding from that incident be banned from public parks in Abbeville until the outcome of the criminal court charges in case. I understand that you're currently scheduled for a court date of August 7th, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will let you say whatever it is you want to say, but just remember that it is, you know, with your attorney present, it is under an open investigation.
I've already discussed
pending.
that with you.
Yeah. What it is, my recommendation is to ban all individuals who have charges against them, which are 3 individuals, starting with Mr. Vincent or Vincent.
You can say either or.
Okay, Vincent, until the outcome of his court case, which is August 7th. And at that time, pending the outcome of those charges, we would render an update to you or open this up for another hearing. This is due process before we would ban you from a public court.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you want to say anything for the record?
No, ma'am, I never said.
And would your attorney like to say anything for the record?
I would. Apparently, I've seen a video of this incident, and there were several people there involved. And my client tells me that he thinks they are mistaking him for another person that was there. So that he's been involved with his son in baseball for a long time. Goes to the games, he goes to the practices, he helps the coaches. He's in the dugout. And this was a bad thing, I'm not, but the other 2 were charged with felony.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's charged with disturbing the peace.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to do my best to find out the name of the person that, what he thinks is mistaken for him in the video. And I know the city council does not want to ban someone who is not guilty.
Right.
So we will, we have to appear after the August 7th.
And if you discover more evidence that proves otherwise, you can also contact Chief Mike Gordy. His office was in charge of the, did you step out?
Hey, don't give you.
Oh, he's back there, okay. He was in charge of the investigation, so you can get with Chief Gordy, and if there's any changes, we meet every 2 weeks, so he can give me an update,
Okay.
and we can communicate that way.
Okay.
Okay, you understand why we're doing this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Council, do I hear, well, actually, I think we kind of procedurally didn't do this correctly. We're supposed to have a motion to go into a hearing, so can I have that motion?
Move. Second.
All in favor of entering into a hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're now in a hearing. I'm going to just retroactively, all those things stated. Any other discussion or questions prior to closing the hearing for Mr. Vincent? None? Okay, do I hear a motion for a recommendation?
I'm gonna leave all with Versa until they go to court.
Second?
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
No, banning someone from a public park, I'll state like I stated, when the incident happened, that as adults, we should all, be in public places with our best behavior, especially when we're representing kids. And, right now, the kids are still on my mind. So whoever was in the video, whoever acted out, and this may be the punishment that they get. But my top priority will always be the kids.
Yes,
And I will always feel like them being off the team, as I stated, is like a juvenile sentence. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That recommendation be made to council. We're gonna go through all three individuals and then we'll, so you'll hear back from us after August 6th unless something changes between now and then.
Yes, ma'am.
August 7th, sorry, August 7th, thank you.
thank you all.
All right, the next individual is, and I'm not gonna pronunciate this right, Jalearreia Soelv.
Soelv.
Soelv. Is Ms. Soelv present? She is not, okay? Council, it's my recommendation, same thing as Mr. Vincent that we,
Move.
Second.
okay? Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The third individual is Angelique Soelv. Is Angelique Soelv, Ms. Soelv present? I know that their attorney contacted our attorney and said they wouldn't be present. He did notify them that we'd move forward with the business anyway, so they are aware that we're taking this action tonight. Did I get a motion on that one? Do I have a motion and a second?
I move.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I have a question, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
If I can. Hi. I'm concerned based on what this attorney said is that for other citizens who may be in the park. It sounds like they're denying that they were even a part of it. So for a person, just me going to the park, can a mistaken identity happen to me and then I'll be charged and banned? What practices or policies do y'all have in place so that doesn't happen again?
Practices or policies that we don't have a misidentification?
Yeah, are there any?
Yeah.
Are there
Well,
any?
I mean, we have to rely on the police department to identify and then it goes to court, right? So that's why this is a temporary ban.
Okay.
I don't think that every individual for every incident should be banned, but I think whenever it rises to the level where you're threatening violence over a youth game and inciting fear in the level, to the level that this happened, or if you would go into a public park and start a massive fight, I think we have to have penalties and consequences that are relevant and, and honestly, I wish it would have been more immediate than this. It's just we have to do due process. I think that banning right now temporarily is the right thing so that we can ensure that every child who goes to the parks or every adult that goes to the parks right now doesn't fall under the same threat that happened at A. Como on the night of May 22nd. If any individual is found not guilty, if any individual is found to be misidentified, at that time, they would be allowed back, no problem. I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure it does, but go.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Hey, you answered my question. That was my concern.
Yeah.
The mistaken identity part.
Well, I think the mistaken identity would have been brought up whenever the chief called them in for charges. Chief, you can speak a little more to that if you want, right?
Yes, we had video and we did, we got a lot of statements. And the video pretty much shows who was there and who was, who was charged.
And then my last question, is there a precedent for this happening before? When has it happened before?
This is
When was
not-
the last time?
There is no precedent that I am aware of in Abbeville. It has happened in other communities because that is how we found out that we needed to do the due process in order to ban them temporarily. So there is precedent in other communities for this happening.
But not in Abbeville, that's a good thing.
I don't think there has been, not that I know of. Kathy, do you recall ever? I don't recall. But I think we have to have a zero tolerance for violence in our parks especially. I mean, I want it in the whole city, but I can't police the whole city, but the parks do fall into my jurisdiction. And so this is a penalty that I think is relevant and important, right? People like our parks and we build a nice park, but it's important that people feel safe there. And this is one thing me and this council can do to hopefully keep those parks safe.
Good question.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ms. Mitch,
Are these people gonna be banned from just the baseball
all
area?
parks.
All
All parks in the city limits.
Well, how y'all gonna know who
until
they
the
are? I mean, I could go to a party at the park, or I could go to,
They're gonna be served a letter that's gonna say that they will be arrested for trespassing if they step foot in a public park until the outcome of the court charges.
Okay, 'cause I was
And
just
so
wondering
if
if
someone
they
calls
do
and
party.
reports that they're at the park, they will
If we
be
catch
asked
them
to
at the
leave,
park,
and if
they'll
they
know
don't
that.
leave, they will be charged with trespassing.
Gotcha.
They'll be charged.
Oh, okay, just was wondering.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the hearing and go back into, okay? A motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendations that were from the hearing to go ahead with the ban. All right, motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, introduction of Ms. Lauren Trahan, the new Vermilion Parish Chamber of Commerce Director, and discussion pertaining to the possibility of relocating the Vermilion Chamber of Commerce to the Vermilion Cultural and Alliance Center located at 200 North Magdalen Square. Ms. Trahan, you have the floor.
Okay, so I am here on behalf, I can't do both, you're just my readers. So I'm here on behalf of my board of directors, just to say that we're looking into moving forward with relocating the chamber from the bypass to downtown Abbeville. And so I'm on an information mission tonight to take that, whatever your thoughts are, your input, and bring it back to my board and share it with them. So we are in the initial stages saying, hey, we'd probably like to be back with our neighbor, the Tourism Commission. It just kind of makes sense. And so getting feedback from City Council and eventually the Tourism Board would be great. So your thoughts?
So I want to just say something before you guys say anything. When I heard the news that Ms. Lynn Guillory was retiring from the Chamber of Commerce, I requested to go speak to their board prior to them putting the fillers out on a hire to replace her. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to them about is that in communities that I see being most successful, they consolidate their resources, right? And it's very common for their economic development, their chamber, and their tourist commission to all be at least acting in the same building, if not under a singular umbrella. Each of those offices right now have an assistant. Each of those entities are maintaining a cost of a building. They're maintaining internet service and phone services. And if you recall in the past, before I was ever on council, the chamber and the tourist commission were together, and they went together, I think originally here, and then out at the bypass. And so it became a conversation with the board of the chamber. Myself, I've spoken with Allie, with the tourist commission about one of the areas I think we can really grow our economy in is tourism. And I think that having the chamber work closely and in the same vicinity as the tourist director, one, consolidates resources, so it's a smarter use of public dollars, but two, those two entities can be more strategic about trying to bring events and grow festivals and stuff here. And so they both like the idea. As you know, we were providing a part-time employee for the tourist commission. That was Christian. Christian is now working more here in-house. Ally Miller would like someone there. I think it's fitting to have the chamber director be there, so if she's not there, someone who's familiar with the businesses in Vermilion Parish can answer questions of tourists. They have an assistant that works with them, so that's a combined resource that they can share. So to me, it makes sense. What we'd like to hear from you is if you would be in favor of me and board exploring a lease agreement between those entities and bringing that back to you guys for consideration. But that's what is open to conversation right now.
I'm going to play Councilman
That's
Tuesday
good.
tonight. Is it in your budget?
So, we haven't, like I said, we haven't ironed out all the details. So if I look at it, if I'm starting a new business, I have access to the permit office here. I have access to permits for the parish. It makes more sense that all the businesses flow through the chamber. And so right now, it's kind of a split. And so if I look at it, let's say I want to start a new business and I want to go to the chamber to get connected. Right now, I'm in the bypass, and if I want a permit, I got to come down here. And now I'm a little bit frustrated because I got to go over there. And so, and speaking not as the executive director, but as somebody that we're starting a new business, I think having a one-stop shop where I know why people come to Abbeville, the culture, and I can get it from Allie, the culture and the tourism, why they come here, and then the tax assessor and the land and the permits and the liquor license and all the different things really happen down here. And so that's one way the chamber can provide those resources as a support to businesses in the area, is saying, let me walk you just down to the permit office and show you where you can get your permits.
So to answer the budget question is
Yes,
that
get
we
that.
already have in our budget to maintain that building, right? We run that office, the city pays for it. I know that the tourist commission put some money in when we had an air condition out. So yes, in our budget to run that building is in our budget. In their budget, the chamber's budget, I don't know it because I don't sit on the board, but I would assume that they have the operations of the facility, which is over on the bypass. So it would be on them in that lease to build up whatever office space they need, and that would all be negotiated out. We would come back to you with the answers to those questions, but ultimately, some of the things we talked about is what happens to the building that they're in. Do we sell it and move it, and that becomes a commercial property that can be put back on the market for a business? Or is it that, is it that we leave it there and somebody wants to run a business out there? What happens with the building on the chamber, the city owns one side and the chamber owns the other, that little Acadian style building in front of Sunbelt. So, there's gonna be, all of those things will have to be discussed. I just didn't want to, at this point, I think it warrants coming before this council and seeing if you are in favor of me looking at that as a lease agreement with board. And then it would have to go to all the boards before it would be finalized.
Will it require any renovation? Because I know it's pretty tight in this cultural center and also in the chamber.
So I did go, it is lonely in the chamber, I'm not gonna lie. It's really dark in there, but I did go talk with Allie just to say hello and with my new position, and she took me that's a huge, that building is huge.
It's
And there's a lot of space in there right now, it's a storage facility, but it is a gorgeous building with lots of office space, a lot of lights and other people. So that's a bonus. Now, I'll speak to budget really quickly. The more resources the chamber can offer businesses, like walking them to the permit office, the more likely we're gonna have sponsorships at the higher level. And so, our budget could expand, which would be fantastic.
Lauren, tell your board, I think it'd be fabulous
I will.
if you moved into that underused building.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to know if we could continue as the 4 entities that are in there.
Yes.
And we use a lot of that
Separate.
storage space, and we have display space. So how would that affect that?
I think it's going to eventually involve the Cultural Alliance, the Omelet Board, and the Chamber, and I think we would sit down and have to figure out, yes, it is not my intention to displace any entity that's there, but ultimately, none of those entities are providing a person to operate that building, right?
Correct.
And so we need to operate the building, that comes at a cost to the city. So having another entity that has bodies that are already being paid by public dollars allows us to have a body present. I think there's lots of things we can do in that building to free up some space. Like there's a lot of old photographs, that's beautiful, I love that, right? But those things could be archived, and some of those photographs could be on a screen where you can review them, but they don't take up so much space on a wall. So I think it's gonna take some creative maneuvering, but I think it's an opportunity, and I think the more entities we have operating out of that space, the better. That's my opinion.
It would give my assistant a chance to work also for the Tourism Commission. I know the board has a meeting on the 18th, and so no decision, again, initial stages. A lot of the artwork I would like to keep in there, especially if that's my office. I would, all that artwork, just leave it right where it's at. It's gorgeous. Thank you. Appreciate you giving me that time to talk about it, and I look forward to emailing me if you have any other secret comments anybody wants to make or chime in, or not in public. Just let me know.
And congratulations on the new position.
Thank you. I'm having a
Anything
good
new
time.
on the horizon, or just kind of getting your feet on the
We have
ground?
a really motivated board that really wants to ask, what can the chamber do for my business? And so I think that's pretty cool.
I enjoyed the event. That was a good class.
We had a great class. Leadership is about to open up again, so if anybody knows anybody that wants to go, Chris, if you want to go through leadership. Leadership class 11.
Chris might be.
Send it my way. We also have a job fair on the 24th at Abbeville High School. We'll have Louisiana Workforce Commission trailer and the SLCC trailer ready to sign people up for jobs. And I'd love to see the city.
What's the date on it?
The 24th. I'd love to see the city just represent and talk about what it's like to work for the city. Chris, if you have time.
Why don't you reach out to Miss Kathy, our new HR director, because she's probably not aware of it and she's so new, but it would be great for her to go. And Chief, I'm sure you might want to go talk to them about police, right? Because we have positions available. So we can partner with the chamber on that.
Bring the dog.
Any other questions or comments for Ms. Trahan? Yes.
Does the chamber, that's a separate entity from the city?
Yes.
It's
And they're gonna
membership.
pay rent to the, like, it's
That-
gonna be
that
a
would
lease
be a-
agreement?
It would be a lease agreement. What the rent would be, I don't know that yet. I mean, I can tell you that the other entities don't pay any lease to the city for being in there, so.
Also, so Vermilion Parish thing, but Abbeville City pays for it.
Not all of it. Like, the chamber, the tourist commission has some funds that come in through, I think it's room and board tax. So they pay some of their own operating expenses for the building itself. The city pays. The city used to own that building, if I'm correct. And I think the city owned it, and then the police jury bought it, and now we lease it. Yeah.
Who owns it now? The city doesn't own
The
it?
police jury owns it, and we lease it from them.
Gotcha.
So the city does. And that was whenever, I think it was Mayor Mark Piazza wanted to see the tourist commission back downtown, because the majority of tourists start in our downtown, right? And so that was his vision, and that's how that came about. The omelet, I don't know if it's under the Omelet Festival, or is it under the Cultural
The
Alliance?
omelet, but we do pay a stipend, but I think that must go to the,
Tourist Commission probably.
I guess,
yeah.
I don't
And
know.
then the building on the bypass, the city owns that
The
building?
city, that building is two separate buildings connected by a breezeway type space. The city owns one portion and the chamber owns the other side.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I know you said about the run or the lease or whatever, so the city's responsible for utilities and everything, telephone, everything?
I think the city pays the utilities on it, if I recall correctly. I believe so.
Insurance also?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Jean.
I might inform the audience that the building was built under my presidency and Bishon Fuchs's presidency. And all the names of the people who donated money to build the building is on the plaque.
The building on the bypass or this one?
Bypass.
It was built in the 80s. So make sure you're
I have the history.
President of the chamber?
That's it. And we gave it to the city.
You were the president of the chamber.
Yeah.
We need some chamber tax.
Pardon?
So the city owns both buildings?
That's what Jean's saying, but we had done some research and we didn't
The
think
one
that.
on the right, the one on the right is the
That's what I heard.
one that the chamber built.
That's what I heard.
But you said they donated it to the city, because we didn't find that in a record. Is that what you recall?
We raised money from the community, and everybody who contributed, his name is on a plaque that paid for the entire building.
Where's the act of donation?
He's talking about the building the city owns. It was taken down here, right here along State Street, and taken apart and then rebuilt as the building there. So that's what he's That's what he's saying,
We'll
that it was
get,
reviewed.
we'll get together and look at all that and make sure all the records are correct. I had Christian do some research whenever we first talked to the chamber about this, because there was questions as to whether or not they own their side of the building. So we'll follow up on that too, before we take any action. Right now, it's just I'm just looking for, do you want me to move forward with looking at this as an option and then bring it back to you for consideration?
Yeah, the
Yes.
land, what name is that under?
The land is under the
DOT.
city.
It's under the city.
Yeah.
You do a great job cutting it.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none? I don't think we take an action right now. No.
Just to move forward.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 3, to submit 2 names to fill 1 vacancy on the Board of Commissioners for the Abbeville Harbor and Terminal District. Council, do you have any names for the nominations?
I would like to nominate Corey Leger.
Okay, and do I have another name? I need 2.
I would like to nominate Wayne LeBlue.
Okay, any other names? No other names? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to submit those 2 names for,
Second.
okay, a motion and a second to submit Corey Leger and Wayne LeBlue to the Abbeville Harbor and Terminal District Commission for them to select who sits on that commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, to appoint 1 member to the Abbeville Fire and Police Civil Service Board to serve the term beginning June 29, 2024 through June 29, 2027. The vacancy is created by the expiration of the term of the seat held by Louis Garrot. Council, do you have any names?
I have a Mr. Trahan Broussard. He's known as Levy.
Can you spell his first name?
Jerath Broussard.
Okay,
And when I spoke with him today, he said that he would be willing to serve.
okay. Do I hear another name?
I move to nominate Timothy Briggs.
Timothy Briggs. Any other names? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to, I guess to settle on this?
I move.
Wait. Hold on, this one's different. Okay, so I have 2 names. I think we probably need to vote on the first one, and if it doesn't pass, then we vote on the second? Is that right? Yeah, okay. So the first nomination was for Mr. Jalearreia Soelv.
Yes.
Do I hear any questions or comments about Mr. Jalearreia Soelv? Do I have a motion to nominate him? Yeah. Okay, and a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Campbell. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'm going to take a roll call vote. Councilman Campbell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Broussard?
Yes.
Councilman Broussard?
Yes.
Councilman Hardy?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, tell him thank you for stepping up to the plate. And now we have a name for next. Sorry, we don't do that often, so. Item number 5, to approve the estimate from SNL Services, boring and excavation in the amount of $9,400 for an electrical conduit bore on North State Street.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? This is to underground the utilities, that electrical line that runs in front of the courthouse through the oak trees. Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Old business, none. Departmental reports, engineers, Mr. Jean.
I might just give you a report on the generator that's gonna be installed on the sewer project with the force main, probably next week. We're trying to rush them into this with hurricane season started, and it'd be good to have that generator the way we can operate both stations at the same time. So they're working on it, and hopefully it'll start next week.
Did they test the line yet? Did they test the line?
The test, I'm not sure that the test passed, but they were working on the test. And I've been out the office for a week, and so I'm not back in there yet.
Okay, and then if you could call me with a timeline for when they're gonna fix the roads.
Okay,
I know it's after the test is passed, but
yeah, okay.
thank you, Mr. Jean. Any questions for Mr. Jean?
Yes, Mr. Jean, when I was first elected, we put, you were here too, Mayor, we put added a pump at, on Frank's Alley. Remember that it would cut on if,
The automatic switch.
with the automatic switch. Should we have that serviced?
Pardon me?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear the question, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Wait, it's already handled.
oh, it's handled.
Yeah.
It's handled.
We do all that as part of our emergency planning. Yeah. Any other questions for Mr. Jean? Hearing none. Brian, are you representing for Primo and Associates?
Yes, ma'am. No updates tonight unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Brian with Primo and Associates? None? Okay. Attorney is not present. Public Works, sorry, to Chris.
So downtown project, tomorrow they're supposed to put another layer of leveling asphalt. Gonna start around the square, try to get as far as they can get on Concord. We put some of the electrical boxes in. If the rest of them are not in, they're gonna go ahead and lay the leveling surface, and they're gonna come back and asphalt around them. To answer your question, I was told that it did pass the test, and they were supposed to pour concrete in the holes today. I made a round and I hadn't seen any concrete. So that's the answer to that question. And that came from Justin. So we'll verify everything tomorrow to make sure me and Justin were in the right conversation, because we got so much going on, me and him, with the sewer repairs downtown. So I'll double check that tomorrow too, and I'm sure Mr. G will. Any questions for me?
I have a question. It doesn't pertain to downtown. When you start promulgating the rules to use the feed park, are you gonna put no four-wheelers, no track vehicles, no motor scooters? Because I pass there sometimes and they're just having a ball. There's nothing up that's saying that they can't go in there.
Right, so the signs that were taken down are being cleaned up to be hung back.
And you're gonna add that?
And I also ordered some more signs for a couple other parks that Ms. Terry requested, and one of them's gonna go there. To tell you exactly what's on the sign, I can't tell you right now, but it's the standard park rules that the city of Abbeville has, you know.
Yeah.
But
We'll have to look at it.
I'll get with the mayor to see what exactly the ordinances say about that.
Yeah, because it's a nice place to get on a scooter and go around the walking trail.
Oh, they're not supposed to be, there's supposed to be no motorized vehicles and no bicycles on the walking trail. Remember, that rule was already in place. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean they can't be on the levee, but they can't be on that concrete walking trail.
It's really hard to police, you know.
Yeah, I know you got to be 24/7. I mean, as long as
It's
you're
really hard.
you know.
We got a young lady that kind of opens and closes for us, and she looks out after the park, and when there's something out of place at any park, she'll call, you know, and we'll try to address it when it happens. So she does a good job of that. She always knows what's not in the right place. So
Yeah, I agree.
and who's not in the right place. So anything else?
I have a question. Well, I have a statement. It was brought to my attention, my name is Linda Conkle, but it was brought to my attention that someone had went, I think it was Thursday or Friday morning, but they had went to the park, to the Latif Park, and people were swimming in that
Pond?
pond. And my question is, do you ever put cameras out there for safety? Because like, you know, if children see adults doing this and they'll do it, you know what I'm saying? And if nobody isn't there, you know, the whole time the park is open, somebody could get hurt by it.
Yeah. So the answer to the question is we have not discussed cameras there. We did send the police out when that was called. And I did have a subsequent meeting with the chief, and he was going to follow up with his lieutenants to see what happened with those individuals, because they are not supposed to be swimming, and there are posted no swimming signs. And if they're not still up, they need to be put back up. If they were there after hours, that's trespassing. But I think that what was determined is the gate was open at 6 and they were there right after the gate was open. Whether or not they were in there when the gate was open, I don't know. If, you know, it's quite possible. But when it was called in, the gate was already open, so they were violating a rule but not trespassing at that point.
It's kind of like the motorized scooters and stuff. It's hard to stop them unless you have 24/7. You know, we actually have, we had maybe some homeless taking a bath in the pond, you know? So, I mean, what do you do? So,
Yeah, because sometimes I'm tempted to tell them, you know, you're breaking the rules, but I'm not in law enforcement, so they can tell me, you know, anything they want to, you know.
And you saw the snakes I saw in that pond.
that's another thing too, you know. All they need to do is see the big water moccasins and they shouldn't get in the water, you know, but, so I don't know how we solve that problem, you know, maybe cameras
You
is the
never
way,
want,
you know.
I never want to see anyone, especially a child, but anyone get hurt in a public park or otherwise. But humans are responsible for their own actions, right? And in order to be liable for something, you have to know that a liable situation existed and not address it. So the fact that we have no swimming signs and people are choosing to swim, I think there's some protection. Of course, we all know if something happens, everybody's getting sued. That's just the world we live in today. But ultimately, the people are responsible for their own actions, you know, and they're breaking the law if they're breaking a rule at the park. And so the best thing we can do is hold them accountable when they break the rules. Yeah, cameras is something we've talked about in parks. It just comes at a cost and, you know, also opens us up to more public records requests, and that kills a lot of time. So what do we do at the right fit? We're still figuring that out. We don't know the answer. What? Mm-hmm.
But the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
We have no Wi-Fi out there, so,
Yeah.
you know, but.
Maybe you could put a sign, you know, beware of animals in the park and make sure you list snakes in the pond.
We have one of those being,
Or just put smile your account.
we have one of those being cleaned up. I think as you walk on the dock, maybe the alligator and the snake sign is still up right now, but.
Yeah, it's still up.
Yeah, I mean, so the park crew's washing those signs up, getting them ready to be rehung. The grass is growing an inch an hour, it seems like, so you guys are busy. You know, those guys are busy doing that too, so, but we're on it. Just a matter of time for us to go do it. Any other questions? Okay. I text your guy again about Nugent Street. Is it Nugent?
Yes.
No response. So I don't know if he's out of business or what, so I'll go to Plan B on that one for you, okay?
Okay. Any other questions for Chris? Parks and Recreation, Byron Dozier, you have the floor. Hi, Byron.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are you? I'm smiling.
I'm smiling too. First off, I'd like to congratulate our QSA 6U T-ball team. They won the Super Regional Tournament, which now means they qualify for the World Series, which will be played in Youngsville. That's the last of our rec ball teams that's still going strong. They'll be playing in Youngsville the week of July 17th through the 20th. This coming weekend, starting actually on July 4th, we have 2D High School Showcase coming. It'll be July 4th through the 7th. There's a total of 14 teams. I do know there's 3 teams from Houston, 2 teams from League City, Texas, and then you have quite a few New Orleans teams that will be attending, along with some local Team Louisiana teams that will be playing in it as well. The following week, July 11th through the 14th, 2D is also scheduled to come back on the books. And if they do, that'll be our last baseball tournament for the summer. And as of Friday, flag football registration has started, $75 registration fee, and registration will be through August 18th. Great job, Byron. Any questions?
Yeah, I saw you taking care of business in the park when you had the big team, you know, we congratulate you.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm glad you came and passed the seat. Yes, ma'am.
When we have these big tournaments, is it the outside company that comes in and holds the tournaments?
Yes.
They pay for the facility?
Yes, they do.
So money generated for the city of Abbeville. Abbeville.
Correct.
Even though most of those teams don't stay in Abbeville as far as hotels.
Most of them don't stay in Abbeville, but a lot of
That's why we
them,
need a
eat in
hotel.
Abbeville.
Right, they eat here though, okay.
Yes.
And they put gas and they go
Yeah.
pick up stuff at Hip
So-
Sports or Walmart, but not enough. Need more.
Don't get that.
Working on it.
Don't tell him that, let him know.
Great
Any other
job,
questions?
Krista.
Hi, Krista. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. Mayor, I have a few things, so bear with me. Water plants. As you all know, we did bring action. You guys authorized me to submit an application for an LDH loan to do the full scope of the water plant refurbishment. We received very positive news. The loan was approved if we choose to take it. We're still awaiting the decision on the percentage of the forgiveness of that loan. If you recall, it could be forgiven up to 49%. We actually recently got notice that we might get more than that forgiven. And so probably at the next meeting, we'll be bringing back all the numbers, the figures to this board so that we can talk about taking out the loan and doing the full water plant refurbishment. And what that involves is changing out the filter mediums, we're gonna pull the pumps, the service pumps, make sure that they're operating good, change any impellers that need to be changed. We're building redundancy, so y'all all know our clarifier went down, and the age of the clarifier will go then a second clarifier, so that if ever we have problems, we can switch between the two. We're building a new backwash tank, we're sandblasting and painting all the piping there, painting the tanks. What else about all new electronics because the plant was struck by electricity. So those are all written into the scope of that project that we went out for a possible LDH loan. So as soon as we have all of that information, which hopefully will be next meeting, we'll be presenting that to you guys for consideration. Mr. Jean, you have anything to add to that?
No, but I talked to the electrical engineer and John Key, the primary engineer on this project, and they're hoping to meet those deadlines that you just mentioned.
Okay, so that's for the water plant. The demo grant update, Councilwoman Broussard, I know we have 32 structures on the demo grant. I know we received a letter, I don't know if it was yet, it was on 27th, and then one since then, from Olivia stating that we would do, last time we were in this grant and were approved, the asbestos testing was done with each individual project as we bid them out. And then they sent a letter saying we have to actually get an asbestos tester to come in and test all the properties before we can bid them out or before we can go to work. So that's going to delay it by a few weeks. We're not sure the exact timeline. Olivia was not clear in that email she sent, but we'll get an update on that. Okay. But we are moving forward. It's just a change in the program. And so we're submitting a response to them. And as soon as we hear the approval from them, we'll be able to go out to get the asbestos tester. I think we have to RFP him. I think we have to RFP that position. They'll test all the properties and then we can demo them. So getting closer, but that's a change in it. So yeah, roads update, like Chris said, they're putting in electrical boxes. There's a few more sewer and stormwater pipes that we need to repair, getting to the end of that work. And then they're gonna concrete and do the thin asphalt as they talked about. It's gonna be first just a 1 inch, so when you see them pour asphalt, if people start asking questions, that's not the end of the project. They're gonna do a small 1 inch floating layer, then later on they're gonna come back with a matting and 2 more inches of asphalt. So that project is moving forward. The pipe work and fixing the sewer, we found a lot of problems with sewer and stormwater, but we repaired them as we went through, and I think it's gonna make everything much better, and we're gonna be laying roads on a good foundation. Any questions on that before I move to the next thing? All right, I just wanted to say we have a new sheriff. Thank you to Mike Cumillon for his 42 years of law enforcement, and I look forward to, and I think our chief does too, working with the new sheriff, Sheriff Eddie Longland. He took office yesterday, the first. Yeah. I was there. It just feels like a week ago. And I wanted to say congrats to our intern, the mayor's intern, Cohen Wise, who's sitting right here in the front row. Cohen was at Boise State last week and was elected to governor. For Boise State, first ever governor of Boise State from Vermilion Parish, right?
Yep.
Yes, so well done. He made us proud. He made the parish proud. And he is doing a great job in learning a lot about government here, so.
And when I come to City Hall, everybody have great things to say about you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Chief Mike Hardy, last on my list is 300 Chevis, because we didn't get to talk about it again. I know you asked a question about the electricity. Do you have an update after, you and Brian, or?
No, ma'am, all that we did was we did send an officer to assist Brian. They went over there and they were giving the impression that the kids were staying in the house after the parents were evicted. I had my guys go to let them know that everybody was evicted, not just the parents.
And the littering
Nobody
violation.
should be in the house, and they were trying to get in touch with the landlords, last I heard.
And the littering violation will be served if they don't clean it up by 24 hours?
The littering violation, we're gonna try to find somebody responsible for it, yes, I talked to Chris.
Okay, just want to make sure. It's a 300 Chevis, a couple blocks. It's actually behind my house by a few blocks. Yeah, and I get an email about it like every 2 weeks. But I think they're either moving out or being evicted, but they put everything in the road, and so I got an email late last night about it, so it's working on that.
300 sheds there.
That's in your district, yes, the one with the kids with the water guns, and they were trespassing on people's property all night, all hours of the night, that's it, that's number
300 sheds.
Yeah, Payon was the Payon neighbor is the one that. Okay, that is all I have.
Mayor?
Yes,
How long do you have to be past you before we cut you off?
I don't know the answer to this question, I'm sorry.
I don't know, I'm trying to figure out.
Brian, I can find out tomorrow, go ahead. You might
I
know.
sent out an email this afternoon, I don't know if y'all were able to review, get ready for the council meeting.
I did not get a
So, notification of the hearing was sent today. The eviction hearing is actually gonna be conducted on the 10th. So they got word that there's gonna be an eviction and started moving out.
So that goes to city court.
Yes.
So you make sure that the judge and our marshal serves that landlord with the letter that states he is not allowed to put their things in the road, or else the landlord will be charged with gross littering. So make sure that that's what they're supposed to be doing when they go through city court for an eviction. City court is supposed to be serving them a notice that says they are not allowed to put the stuff at the road. It has to go, they're responsible for taking it off property, whether it be in a roll-off bin or bringing it to the landfill, but they can't put it at the road and let it sit for a month. It's a company out of Lafayette or Baton Rouge.
It's
not even a local.
AMI West Louisiana Holdings.
Yeah. No vested interest in the community, that's the problem. Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, I'll move on to Police Chief. Chief Mike Hardy, you have the floor.
I have nothing to report from the police department, except everything's going along well. But, any questions, I'm here if you have them.
I call him, so. Any questions for the chief?
I'm not gonna ask you the question, Mike.
Fire Chief, Chief Junior. Okay, topics for discussion. Councilman Hardy. Councilman Broussard.
Nothing tonight.
Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Campbell.
Just one brief thing, I would just like to congratulate the two weightlifting females, I hate to say females, who will be representing our little city of Abbeville in Malta in August. Now, Malta, they're gonna say, where's Abbeville? But we know where it is. But it's Miss Schubert and Miss Betty. So I just want to congratulate them. That's it.
Meeting adjourned.